Hi, and welcome to today's show, which is focusing on baby boomers and how they could gain a little bit of a competitive advantage with knowing some digital tools. So, welcome to today's show. Before I dive into all of that, my name is Vibreen Samuels, and I help baby boomers reinvent themselves psychologically, practically, and technically so they can thrive in the third act of life. And as a baby boomer myself, the last 10 years, I have really practiced the implementation of reinvention. So today, I'm going to be focusing on the no code development movement that really has come to the forefront over the last 3 years in particular. But what I want to do is kind of contextualize where the no code movement sits within the world of technology. So I'm going to step you back to 1991. In fact, August the 6th, 1991, is when the consumer internet, as we know it, really was birthed. And that was due to the fact that Tim Berners-Lee, who is now Tim Berners-Lee, he was an engineer and computer scientist. And he wanted to find a way whereby physicists from right around the world could actually connect and share information, but without actually having the very same computer hardware and software. So that really was the birth of the internet. And in 2021, it was the 30th year anniversary. Now, interestingly, round about the time when the internet was actually launched, the planet Saturn had entered Aquarius, which is all about technology, and Saturn has a 30-year cycle. So in 2021, this celebration of the internet was birthed. And then from 2020 through to 2023, Saturn actually moves into Pisces next month. But for the last 2.5 years, there has been this Saturn back into Aquarius. So we've seen alongside this the development of new technology. Now, since about 2020, there have been 9 key developments within technology, but the ones I just want to touch on is NFTs and then go more into the no code movement. So NFTs, they are non-fungible tokens. And as I said, they are one of the 9 new pieces of technological development that has taken place since 2020. And essentially, NFTs are digital assets that are recorded and validated and verified on the blockchain. And with the development of this type of technology, along with the no code movement, actually gives everyday people, everyday citizens access and a way to generate or create wealth. So if we think about where the internet started in 1991, that really was about the exchange of information. You know, Google was set up and it brought the world's library at the click of a mouse. Fast forward 30 years and where technology is, it's about access, it's about the ability to create wealth and about lowering barriers so everyday people can actually use the internet and use new technology in a way that facilitates their lives, which is a wonderful development. And so alongside NFTs, we can see how wealth can be created. And one of the ways this actually showed itself was back in March 2021 when there was a sale of an NFT for $69 million. And it was by Beeples. And it was called Every Day. And it was a reflection of creation over a 5,000 day kind of timeline. But that piece of digital art actually sold for $69 million. So you can see why where we are with technology, how it gives us everyday people the ability to participate in wealth creation and flexibility. And that's where no code actually sits. It's within that kind of cradle of new technology. So, what exactly is no code? Well, no code, the no code movement and platform, is really focused on the next iteration of software engineers, developers, programmers. Why? Because the future of engineering, to quite a large extent, the more people get to know about it, apps and websites and digital products will actually be created by, the teacher, the policeman, the housewife, the grandfather, the grandmother, everyday ordinary people who do not have a background in developing technology. So it's really focused on the non-technical person and how, if they wanted to create digital products, they could, because they don't have to learn front end engineering like I did, for example, and they don't have to learn back end engineering and then, know about the cloud and all the different touch points that are associated when you're developing a digital product, a software product. So actually, it has great advantages because it opens up the landscape that enables so many more people to participate. And so this no code movement and the tools themselves really are developed in a way that really suggests they are intuitive. So they have a visual element. And if you have an idea for something, you can logically create it with these prompts. And the prompts really about dropping and dragging different moving parts, kind of like templates, really, modules that allow you to build out whatever that it is that you have in your mind's eye. So it's really great. Now, why would you, as a baby boomer, or anybody else, but the audience that I'm reflecting to are baby boomers. Why would you want to actually have some awareness of what this no code movement is? Well, if you're a baby boomer who's either unemployed, underemployed, or in employment, and you're really looking to kind of boost your skills and create a competitive advantage, then actually having some understanding of this no code movement is going to help you. So just imagine, for example, you're unemployed and you're trying to get back into the workforce. And as I mentioned in last week's episode, it's this sense of how would you begin to attract a mentor who's from the millennial or Gen Z world generation. So just imagine if you are unemployed or underemployed and you're trying to develop skills that really are very much part of the way the future of work is going. So if you learn a tool, like Bubble, for example, I'm going to come to that in a moment. And let's say that you are able to, in your own time, in your spare time, begin to learn the basics of no code. Then imagine going to an interview where sadly there's this kind of assumption that older people are not au fait with new technology, which clearly is not the case. Me, alongside so many others, are shining examples of that. But actually, if you could demonstrate your knowledge around, well, no code development tools can actually increase efficiency within the workplace. Let's say that the company that you're going to interview at, you've done a little bit of research on them, and then you've connected the idea, well, they have this particular process. It could be automated by using no code tools. And so there is a practical way for you to demonstrate that, you're tech savvy without actually having gone through, the software engineering or the computer scientist route. But it's actually showing that A, you have a competitive advantage, B, that you're somebody who's really interested in upskilling yourself. You're really part and parcel of this sense of lifelong learning, and you can actually add value. So learning these digital tools in a way not only can benefit if you're trying to move back into the workforce, but just imagine if, you could be developing your own service, you could be a solopreneur. So let's just think about us as baby boomers and when we were coming through the world of work in our late teens, early 20s. So I remember my first paid job way back in the day started, I think it was 1979, so that's a long time ago. But my first actual paid full-time job was as an accounts clerk. I was a what was I? I was a purchase ledger clerk, essentially accounts payable. So I was somebody who would, collate invoices, process invoices, reconcile them, and do the bank reconciliations, and just in that very methodical way, in that very manual way, manage the payment process. So baby boomers would have come up in the days when it was very much the analog world of doing things. Now, fast forward, you've kind of, you grew up with that knowledge. It was part and parcel of your job. Whereas nowadays, you wouldn't be expected to actually have manual ledgers, but you could use a tool like Bubble, for example, to automate the process that would streamline how you manage the invoicing process. That could streamline financial reporting. That could streamline the sort of project management about how funds, company funds, are actually handled in a way whereby you're taking the headache out, you're removing any type of friction. And with the no code development and movement of tools, this allows you to be part and parcel of that. So Bubble is just one mere example of the no code tools, and it's quite an established tool. It's been around for about 8 to 10 years, but really gained in prominence, like a lot of the new technology, during the lockdown, essentially from 2020 onwards. And what it does, it facilitates this kind of dragging and dropping of software that helps you create an app. So you could create an app, for example, that would streamline how invoices are processed in a small company. Let's say that you are a baby boomer and you want to set up, your small solopreneur business, and just look around in your local neighborhood of small companies who may still be operating in an analog type of way. How could you use the power of these code tools to actually help small businesses to automate their processes? So if we think about Bubble, for example, so you can connect Bubble to Google Sheets. And what are Google Sheets? Google Sheets really are spreadsheets that allow you to edit, to create, and to collaborate with other people in real time. So you would connect Bubble, for example, to something like Google Sheets. Or if you wanted to streamline a payment processing, like Stripe, for example, you would be able to connect Bubble, create the very basic app. You could prototype the app, connect it to this payment processor, and there you have a streamlined system that will facilitate business processes. So by you understanding actually the power of these no code tools will increase your value, whether you choose to go back into the world of work as a full-time employee or even a part-time employee, or maybe as a consultant, because we are in the gig economy. But on top of that, over the last 10, 15 years easily, this idea of having a portfolio life, that you may have 2 or 3 different streams of income by, really taking the time to learn a non-code product like Bubble, could be really beneficial. However, I have to say that with the kind of no code movement, it's fantastic. Clearly it streamlines and it cuts down on a lot of things, but there are limitations. And so there are design limitations, for example. So, because you've got these different modules that are created in a particular way. So if you wanted to to create something that was really complex or nuanced, then you'd have a bit of limitation, because you can only create apps or websites within the framework that has already been created by Bubble, for example. Another limitation is the fact that if you haven't had any exposure to software development, then Bubble has a little bit of a steep learning curve in terms of, really embedding the practices of it. So it might take you longer to actually learn it, but nonetheless, it could still be a very worthwhile skill to acquire. And then the third thing that could actually hold you back a little bit is the fact that Bubble, as with all of the no code tools, what they are proprietary software, meaning that the company owns it. And so therefore you are reliant on the maintenance and the updating of the software, but they are minor, really, in comparison to the fact that you could use Bubble to help create an MVP, a minimal viable product that helps you, shape the idea of a work stream or a work process, or a workflow that's going to help you create a product for yourself, or B, going into an interview, you can say, well, I've created my own tiny portfolio of a couple of things that I've done, and they really can be this minimum viable product because you've given some thought ahead of time of the interview as to how you could potentially use this no code tool in a way that could add value to the company. So, as the times that we're moving through, the times that we're living in, each and every one of us, whether we are an individual like you and I, or whether we're a conglomerate like, the Googles and the Amazons and the Virgins of this world, it doesn't really matter, because one of the things that the internet has done and we've really experienced over the last 30 years is this democratization of technology and who can access what. So whether you're an individual or whether you are a corporate company, the sense of, everybody's looking at you, that you can do, or you have access to, or you have understanding of, how do these tools work? So the more that you, as a baby boomer, can upgrade your skills in a way that's meaningful to you, that adds value to you, that you can tuck into your portable portfolio, then the no code movement and the no code tools like Bubble are really going to be advantageous to moving forward. So that's what I wanted to share with you today in terms of the power of digital tools. And you'd only need to learn maybe one or two of them that can really help you gain this competitive advantage, but also show that, yes, you're a baby boomer, but you still got chops, and you've got chops in the kind of technical world, and which then, rebuts this kind of fallacy that us as baby boomers or older adults in particular are really not au fait with technology. And through, my shows, I'll be sharing resources with you. I'll be giving you ideas in the way that I've just done in this particular show, of resources that can help you build or deepen your skill set, but also widen who you are as a person. So that's what I wanted to share with you in today's show. Thank you so much for your time. If you've got any comments, even on the replay, please put them in the comment box below and put replay. Feel free to, like and subscribe and hit that notification button for when I go live. And the idea is to go live every Sunday at 3:30. And what I'm going to do for the next show is bring you another resource and or give you an indication as to the wave of new jobs that are, some of them are sort of hovering on the horizon. Others haven't quite, risen their head above the parapet. But by having some insights in terms of what's coming can actually help you prepare if you're looking to move back into the world of work. The future of work is changing literally as I speak and as we all are showing up, but also in terms of, or maybe, you don't want to go back into the world of work, but you still need to earn an income That's going to facilitate your fabulous life. And you may want to develop a portfolio of skills, then the no code movement is really going to be advantageous. So, have a fantastic week. If you've got any queries, questions, or if you've got suggestions of what you'd like me to cover in future shows, please put them in the comment box below. Oh, and stay well and have a fantastic week. And I will see you again next Sunday. Bye.